We're now ready to set up our mail server. Before we install Exchange, there are a couple of things we need to do first. We need to add some more features to Windows. So we'll work our way through the wizard. And it's not a role we're adding this time, it will be one of the features. Feature we need is the .NET Framework 3.5. And if we scroll on down, we should find Remote Server Administration Tools, Remote Administrative Tools, and ADDS and LDS tools. And we need the snap-in and command line tools added. So we'll finish the wizard and we'll start that installing. At this point, with no CD in, the machine will go online and use the Windows Update to download and install the features we require. While that's installing, we can take a chance to have a look at some of the services we require. So the easiest way I find of doing this is to bring up a Windows box. We'll type in services.msc, and we're looking for one called net.tcp port. And we'll bring up the properties of this service. We will set it to an automatic startup. I prefer the delayed start one. And once we've applied that, we can start that service running in the background. Meanwhile, we're still waiting for the installation to finish of the bits and pieces we require. And there we have, we've got those two bits installed. To import the rest of the features, the simplest way of doing it would be to launch the PowerShell. And the important thing is to run it as an administrator. And it's rather a long bit of code that you have to type in. I will include it in the comments to this video. But we simply hit return. It will collect the data we require and install any additional features as needed. I've included the -restart option. The machine will restart if needs be, but I'm hoping it won't need that feature. And there we have it. It's installed all the features we need, so we can close down both those tools. So it's now time to install Exchange itself. It's important to make sure you only use Exchange 2010 Service Pack 3. The earliest versions will give you all sorts of errors. And what happens is you go online, you can download this, and it will download it as an exe. I've got it on CD, so I'm just copying it onto my desktop. And once it's there, we'll run the file to extract all the installation files. So we'll start it running. It'll ask us where we want to extract the files to, and we'll let it extract. So I'm going to put it on my desktop and put it in a folder called Exchange. And there's a folder appeared, and it will quickly extract all the files we require. And there we have it. The extraction is complete. We can open up the folder, and as well as all the language files. If we scroll on down, we will find the setup routine, which we can launch. So we'll install step 4. It will copy a few files over and start the setup. And the wizard will lead us through all the sections. As with normal, a license agreement which we can accept. Do you want to have error reporting on, which sends error logs to Microsoft, who then give you helpful suggestions? We won't in this case. And we will take a typical Exchange server installation. We do not need the unified messaging, and we won't need the edge transport and the features that we are doing. Again, we can specify the name for this exchange. I'll just call this one Hot Mail. And it asks, do I have any computers running the old version of Outlook 2003 in our organization, which we haven't. And it will be internet facing, because this will allow our users to use the Outlook web app, the web-based email system. So we'll call this one mail.mail.com. That's not the right name of the machine, but we will add in this to DNS later. And do I want to join the Windows Customer Experience program? No, we don't. This is just a demo setup. It will now perform a readiness check, where it checks our machine is suitable for installing Exchange. I would expect 2 errors. One warning me it's going to make changes to my Active Directory with the prepare AD command, and secondly, I don't have the filter packs installed. If this was a real system, I'd go and download the filter pack and install those. So we'll let it do what it wants and wait for it to check all the prerequisites are in place. But as we run a script earlier, this should be the case. So we're on to the final one, and it has lit up the install button. So we can click install, and now unfortunately it's just a case of waiting and letting it install Exchange. And there we have it after 21 minutes. It does say finalize this installation using the Web-Mgmt-Console. I will turn it off because on the next stage it recommends we do a reboot. So we'll OK that, and we're back to the window we had before. It does recommend we go online and we get the critical updates. If this was a production server, that would be the case. But we can close that window down now, and if we check the list here, we'll see we've got the Web-Mgmt-Console available and the Exchange Management Shell that we'll need later. So if we launch the console, it will come up. Just maximize it, and eventually it will search and find the local Exchange server. It'll probably point out we've only got 119 days left of our license. We would need to enter the license number. And there we go, 119 days. And if we open up the recipient's configuration and mailbox, you'll see there's only a mailbox been made for the administrator user. But what we can do is we can come across and we can have a new mailbox. It's a simple user mailbox. We will add in our existing users, and let's that to there. We don't need any extra settings, and we'll just create them. And this will give Bill and Ben access to the email, like so. Before we do that, we've a couple of little settings to do, and they are to do with DNS. So we'll open up the DNS management tool, and I'll open up the forward lookup zone to do with this domain. We need to add one important record, and that is a mail exchanger, so-called MX record, that we will point any incoming email servers to this machine to handle the mail. Top box, for some strange reason, is always left blank, and in here you put in the FQDN, fully qualified domain name, of the mail server, or you could browse to it. I happen to know the name of this machine is hot.mail.com, and if we had more than one server, we could change the priority if needed, so that's okay. Earlier on, I referred to this machine as mail.mail.com, so what we'll do is we'll put in a new alias, and we'll say mail, and again we'll put in the real name of the machine, and that will redirect it. And that's our server now created and functioning.